Hello everyone, xForts here, and welcome to JoJolion Chapter 77, discussion, review, recap, predictions, thoughts, all of those things. But before we get into the chapter, I just want to mention that this is going to be my last JoJolion chapter review, or really just my last video ever that I do in this room. I'm going to be moving next week, which is exciting, but it's kind of like an end of an era. You know, like my whole thing with JoJo was like born in this room, so hopefully I can get everything set up in my new place and get another, set that looks really nice and close to this one. I really love this set that I've been recording at, which is also in the place I live, but it seems like so symmetrical. We have Slam Dunk on that side, Danny Phantom and Bruno over there, but I don't know, I just really like it. But I'll get something just as good, if not better, in the new place. So hopefully you guys are excited for a new scenery. But anyways, let's get right into the chapter. And we nailed the cover of Ultra Jump this month, and I believe this is in reference to one of the Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe covers, because the Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe OVA 2 released a few days ago. So that's exciting. Hopefully that gets subbed and uploaded to YouTube just like it did last year. And of course, shout out to everyone at JoJo's Colored Adventure that works on all these chapters, and of course I'm sure they're going to be involved with subbing the new Rohan OVA, which is going to be great. I feel like they go really underappreciated in the community. You guys got to show love to everyone that provides us with all this English JoJo. But anyways, so getting more onto the cover, it says, "A summer completely packed with JoJo is coming," and that's an understatement, really. On the cover of this, you see Part 5 Golden Wind anime in production, Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe OVA coming out, and of course, Araki-sama's exposition, JoJo Ripples of Adventure, is taking place on August 24th, so like all summer, JoJo of summer, and that's just in Japan. Also in America, it was announced that Part 4 is getting a dub as soon as Stardust Crusaders ends, which is going to be airing on Toonami, which is hype, and also Part 4 is going to be released in JoJolion format after Stardust Crusaders. So just like, this is like the peak of JoJo right now in the West, at least. Like, the series is at like an all-time high for at least as long as I've been in the community, and it's so nice seeing just all this new stuff. It's a great time to be a fan of JoJo, like, I swear. So, with that out of the way, all that good stuff said, let's get right into Chapter 77. Of course, this is sort of the calm before the next storm. Obviously, last chapter finished off with the end of poor Tom's fight, and it just sort of, everything seemed like it chilled out. So poor Tom was killed, obviously, by an unknown person, got shot in the mouth, and also the branch was taken by members of the university hospital in the ambulance, but then we were twisted. It wasn't actually them, it was Jobin and Tsurugi who have it, and then they began grafting the branch on a cactus. So that's pretty much a recap of what happened last chapter. And it's nice. This chapter is sort of split up into two sections. The first half is pretty much just everyone coming up with the plan to how to get the branch, and sort of the whole Higashikata family and, you know, friends of the family like Josuke and Mamazuku talking to everyone. And then the second half is our introduction to a new character, and a surprising old character that comes back in the new setting where this next arc is going to take place. So I really like this chapter. We'll get more onto like my overall thoughts on it at the end though. So cover page, absolutely awesome. Josuke and Jobin, like full-on heterosexual dads here. I love it. Them like holding Tsurugi is adorable. It says their desire for the fruit cannot be burned out. Really great chapter. So let's get into it. Also, the chapter is called Equivalent Exchange and University Hospital Part 1. Just by that title, sounds like we're endgame, sounds like this is going to be going on pretty long, or it would go on like, okay, so spoilers, by the end of the chapter, you guys all read the chapter already, I know. By the end of the chapter, we're at the university hospital, and we were introduced to like a new enemy, sort of, really quirky guy. So everyone's on their way to the university hospital, or at least Josuke and Mamazuku are. So I think this Equivalent Exchange and University Hospital Part 1, either it's going to go on for like 2 or 3 parts, or it's going to go on for like 12 parts, similar to like D4C Love Train or something like that, like an arc that really takes place nearing the end of the part. But I think once we get to the hospital, we'll sort of be introduced in the environment there, and then maybe once we get in a stand battle with someone, we'll go into the more traditional chapter titles of like, you know, Ozone Baby and Poor Town Part 1, 2, 3, but I could see this chapter title remaining for a really long time, for like 6 or 7 months. So let's get into the chapter. So the first thing that happens in the chapter is a recap. This is pretty standard for Araki now in JoJolion. After every 3 or 4 stand fights, we'll get a re-explanation of what the Rokakaka does and what it's being used for and everything. So we go back to the island of New Guinea and how the Rokakaka was originated there and how it's being turned into medicine. None of this medicine has been published yet. And this is like really subtle, not really subtle, but foreshadowing for what we'll see later in the chapter, which was like actually surprising. And we also see someone we've already seen before, that picture, that the really famous baseball player that bought the Rokakaka and used it on himself, and he healed his shoulder but gave up his lower jaw, and all of his teeth turned to rocks. So we already saw that, but I guess we're just being reinforced, and Josuke restating like half of my body's Kira, half of it's Fumi. So you know, just like, you know, getting us freshed up with the concept of equivalent exchange. So with our recap out of the way, we regroup at the Higashikata family, and we see like a portrait view of the entire orchard burnt. Really sad. Norisuke's like life, work, you know, what the family like lives for their fruit business. It's all gone, and they're gonna have to start from nothing. So yeah, the entire orchard's burnt down, unfortunately, but Mamazuku, the boy, is alive, and he was able to reform his body with doggy style. So Mamazuku is good. Super crazy, man. I really, like, not a lot of people, especially myself, I didn't expect Mamazuku to recover after the one Ozone Baby chapter, but then by the end, like, we knew he was alive, but everyone was like, is he going to be missing limbs? Is he going to look like Polnareff from like part 5? Like, all beat up or everything? But he's totally fine, man. After even being like compressed by Ozone Baby and having definitely internal organ damage, it seems like Doggy Style was just able to bring him back to where he was before. So that's good to see. Really big fan of Mamazuku. You guys know that. I just wish Araki didn't say that Doggy Style can't heal him when it clearly has been seen able to heal him in the fight with Brainstorm and now with the Ozone Baby fight. Like, he's just like, the only thing that's changed is that he still lost his thumb from the Brainstorm fight, but he had holes all in his face, and like he got crushed by Ozone Baby, and like that had to have done some organ damage. But so we just get a lot of banter between the family. It's really nice seeing everyone awake and conscious. Like, the last time we saw the whole family talk together, it was really briefly. It was in the beginning of the Ozone Baby arc. But it's like, dude, I was really excited for Norisuke and Mamazuku to meet up because they've been friends for a really long time. I was interested to see some dialogue between the two, but it's still really sparse in this chapter. Mostly, like, all of the dialogue is taken up by Joshu, talking about how, like, oh my god, like, the orchard is burned down, and just, like, doing Joshu things, talking about how they can repurpose the orchard into like being a mushroom scavenger hunt, and also how they could get go-karts. So Joshu just being Joshu, being a cool guy, being hilarious. He was really just like comedy relief in this chapter. It was one of those things where like he went off on this big like idea, like, oh, the orchard, we could repurpose it for this, we could get this, and then like before he knows it, he's like, wait, where'd everyone go? And Daya's like, I'm here, big brother, like, I'm listening, this is such a good idea. So that reminded me of something from like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But on to like real plot heavy stuff in this chapter. So we know that the branch is in possession of Jobin and Tsurugi right now. So Josuke is like, we gotta go get that branch, and Jobin's like, are you sure they have it? And just like, at first I was like, wait, is he going to reveal that he has the branch? Are they going to team up? But no, this was just sort of Jobin manipulating Josuke to get him dead set on going to the university. Jobin was like, well, if you saw them take the branch, I think the ambulance belonged to the university hospital. You better get down there. So Jobin is just like snaking them so hard right now. But Mamazuku is onto his antics because Mamazuku, as we know, he's older, he's more like experienced, and he's just a bit mature. He just sort of thinks of things really rationally, and he was just like, that fight made no sense against poor Tom. Like, who lit the orchard on fire? It wasn't poor Tom. Poor Tom came because it was on fire, so who was it? And he deduced that it had to have been Jobin, so he was like, okay, this is just Mamazuku and Josuke speaking. They're like, okay, Jobin is sketchy, there's something going on with him, and there's this funny panel of Mamazuku like, I'm gonna start my own private investigation on Jobin, but like his facial expression in it is like super smug. It's funny. So that concludes the first half of the chapter. Just some nice banter between the families, seeing everyone awake and that they're okay, and just sort of leading us into the next part of JoJolion. Looks like Mamazuku and Josuke are going to go investigate the university hospital, and Jobin and Tsurugi are going to continue to keep the branch growing in secrecy, but I don't know how long that will last because it looks like Mamazuku is onto them. And also, I almost forgot about this. There was a panel from Norisuke where Norisuke looked like he was suspicious of them as well. There was also weird that in this chapter, like, Mamazuku was like, with the grafted branch, you can grow a fruit in 10 days. And he's like, but the only way that would work if it was like a potted plant, as in like a cactus. And it's like, oh, that just like fits too perfectly. That's like a total coincidence. Because it just so happens that the pot plant that Jobin and Tsurugi chose to graft it on was a cactus. And when Mamazuku mentioned the cactus, you see Norisuke have this like inner monologue where he's like, a potted cactus. And at the end of last chapter, when Tsurugi and Norisuke were talking, Tsurugi was standing next to what Norisuke perceived as a cactus, but it was Jobin, actually. But they did graft it to a cactus. So looks like Norisuke is onto them, and Mamazuku is onto Jobin, and I don't expect him to keep this grafted branch secret for long. But now on to the second half of the chapter, we see the university hospital and what's going on over there. And we see a character I didn't even recognize at first. It's someone who we have seen before, they have a name, but we haven't seen them since like chapter 3, I think. It was when we first saw the entire Higashikata family. It's Tsurugi's mom and Jobin's wife, Mitsuba Higashikata. I swear I forgot her name at first. I saw her, I was like, oh, it's Kato. Wait, no, it's not Kato. It's Jobin's wife. I forgot she even had a name, but Mitsuba. This was also a character I mentioned in my end of JoJolion plot points that need to be addressed. What's going on with Mitsuba? Where's she at? Why did she just leave the story? And it's nice to see that she's back in and she's not just a totally forgotten character. And this gives me even more faith that Kato will be a huge player in this, because if Araki remembers Mitsuba and brings her back to the series, Kato really hasn't done anything relevant since like chapter 58, 59, so definitely she is going to come back in a major way, and main villain, calling it, guys. But Mitsuba seems to have a complete redesign. I really like her clothes. I'm a sucker for like any design with arrows on it. That's why I really like Hato's hair, but like just put arrows on a character and I'll love them. So Mitsuba, she is just like, there's a lot of panels just dedicated to her, and just visually, we see a bit of her personality. She seems like a really selfish person. Like, first of all, when's the last time she even saw Tsurugi, her own child? She's never around the family or anything. She seems like she's just doing a lot of things for herself. So the big thing that gave it away is that once she got into an elevator, there was like an old lady walking towards it, like, hold the elevator, and she was just like spamming the close button, and she locked the old lady out of the elevator. So that was like one hint to her selfish character. But then we see that she is at the hospital getting things done for herself. Like, she's just like spending Higashikata family to enhance herself. But this is like the most interesting part of the chapter right here is Doctor, Mr. Doctor, PhD, Doctor Man. So Mitsuba's in the waiting room and gets called in by this mysterious man who definitely doesn't look like a rock human. Hair is like a dead giveaway for rock humans. If anyone's a rock human, like, you can tell immediately by their hair. This guy's hair looks like, it's like spiky with like fish eggs on it. I say fish eggs because throughout the chapter he's eating a lot of seaweeds. That I just kind of made that connection, but it's like pebbles, fish eggs, just like balls, just really weird looking rock human 100%. And I also get like a sense of sarcasm coming from his outfit. So he shows up at the hospital and Mitsuba's like, hey, my left ear's not working very well. And so he takes a look at it and we get like this really weird panel of like her skin cracking. And at first I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Why does Mitsuba have the rock disease? Why is she suffering from the rock disease at all? She's not a Higashikata by blood. You know, there's no reason she should have that. But then I made the connection that, oh shit, this doctor right here is, they've already turned the Rokakaka into medicine and they're already giving it to patients, which is like, it was like a mind blow. Like, I didn't think that was going to happen until the end. I thought that was the ultimate goal, but to see that these like rock human doctors are already using the Rokakaka's technology, it raises a lot of questions because it clearly doesn't work well at all. But back onto this guy's design. So if you guys remember way back, I think it was after or before the Urban Gorilla arc, Mamazuku sort of flat out came out and said, whoever the enemy is, our enemy are rock humans and doctors, and this guy fits the profile, but I don't think he's really a doctor. Like, his outfit has doctor here, and doctor here. He has like 3 name tags, so it's like imagine in a comedy movie where someone needs to like sneak into a hospital and they like put on like a fake doctor's uniform. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from this guy just from his outfit, but who knows, man? Maybe he does have a PhD in doctor or something. So back onto the side effects that Mitsuba is suffering from. So her left ear isn't really working. The side of her head is cracking. Like I said, my first reaction was rock disease, but then she says that she had a boob job. So she thought like her boobs were really saggy. So she just like firmed them up a lot and she really liked the result. But the medicine that this doctor gave her was clearly from a Rokakaka, as it has equivalent exchange powers. So her boobs got really perky and nice looking, but then she started having her mouth turn to rock. She said, I lost like, I think she said she only had like 24 teeth left, or like 24 of her teeth like turned to rocks or something. And she was like, yeah, I have to like cover up my mouth and now my ear's hurting really bad. So it seems that, I don't know, I just don't understand why they're using equivalent exchange as a practice, as a medicine practice. I mean, obviously they haven't, you know, perfected it enough, and it seems like they haven't done anything to it. It seems like they're just giving out this fruit raw to people, unless it's a specific case for Mitsuba, because she's connected to the Higashikata family, and maybe that will be explained at some point. But maybe they're giving this Rokakaka medicine to anyone, but it's just like, it doesn't seem like the most effective use of medicine at all. It seems like what you first need to do is figure out how to stop the equivalent exchange ability, or make the equivalent exchange take something that's not really useful at all. Like, you know how like humans, like over time, like we've gained things that we don't really need anymore. Like if you, what is it? If you go like this and you have like a big vein right here, like you don't really need that thing. I watched a video on it on YouTube, but like, I don't know, just some people have things in their body that they don't really need. So it would make sense if they were able to target those specific bodies and remove things from your body that you don't need anymore, rather than taking something important like your teeth. But it makes no sense. Like, wouldn't it just be better to like perform a standard boob job, you know, like remove some extra skin, like whatever it takes? Like obviously boob jobs, I feel like they're a pretty advanced medical like field that people get them all the time, and I'm sure they look good. Haven't had any personal experience with them myself, unfortunately, but it's like, why is equivalent exchange the answer to this? Wouldn't it just be better to like continue doing things we've used to do? Equivalent exchange is like, it doesn't seem like the answer for something simple like a boob job. I feel like it'd be much easier to just do it the old-fashioned way, or just how, you know, we've been doing it, rather than giving her something that does it easily but destroys another part of her body. Okay, I feel like I just talked for like 7 minutes straight, so I'm sorry if I went on like just randomness there, but back onto like the main point of this chapter. So this doctor giving patients Rokakaka medicine that's obviously not perfected, and obviously causing devastating like effects on people's bodies, like actually turning them to rock, in order to solve simple things that could have been fixed without the side effects through just being like, you know, proficient in your medical field. But back onto this character, he's just really quirky, like chugging water, eating seaweed, and I don't know how I feel about this guy. Like, I kind of like him, even though I know he's probably going to end up being a bad guy and having a stand. Oh, and also like the visuals in this arc, I feel like they're like clearly a reference to the Cinderella arc, especially page 29, where Mitsuba is laying on the bed and he's like leaning over her. So like Mitsuba is, you know, she's not satisfied with the way she looks. She doesn't like the way her boobs were, so she got them enhanced, and she came to this guy. So I feel like that's really paralleling with Cinderella, how people would show up and through like supernatural means. What the hell was Cinderella's user's name? Aya? I forget, but like how people would show up to Cinderella and be like, okay, I don't like this, and use through a stand ability, she would change them around. So this sort of reminds me of that a lot, whether it was intentional or not. So by the end of this interaction with Mitsuba and Doctor, I guess I'll call him, because that might be a reference to the UFO song, Doctor, if you guys have ever heard that. It's a pretty popular song. It was covered by Iron Maiden, so that could be a reference, that could be a musical reference just based on design. I don't know why else it would say Doctor, like in two different spots. So I think that's the reason for his design being like that. Musical reference already, which is nice. But Mitsuba agrees to go under, to have another procedure, which costs 200 million yen. And this girl is just like a straight gold digger, man, using Jobin and the Higashikata family for their like money. Like, I don't remember them saying Mitsuba came from a wealthy family or anything. Maybe she did, but this is totally Higashikata fruit money that she's using to have these enhancements. But 20 million yen, she's going to have another procedure to fix her ear. And it's like, again, the Rokakaka, like equivalent exchange technology for medicine, just, it doesn't seem efficient at all, because it's like, it comes in like, okay, I want a boob job. All right, take this bit of Rokakaka. Oh, now like my mouth doesn't work. Have Rokakaka. Now my ear doesn't work. It's like you're just going to destroy the body to the point where there's nothing left to exchange. You've destroyed all of it. So I don't know what this doctor's objective is, if he just doesn't know what he's doing, or if he's using her as an experiment. But by the end of the chapter, well, not before we see Yasuo. Yasuo's back in the picture. You know, last time we saw Yasuo, she was going to investigate the rock animal she came in contact with a few years before JoJolion started, which was the hair clip. And we really don't have an update on that. We just see Yasuo's in the hospital because she's having menstrual pain and also feeling depressed. So maybe that could be, maybe she's being, no, this is like, no, that ain't happening. But like, what if she's being affected by the hair clip again? Last time she was affected by the hair clip, she was depressed and tried to kill herself. So maybe when she went back to investigate it, she got attacked by it or something. Maybe she's under the effects. I don't think that's what's happening. I think this was just an excuse to have her in the hospital, but while she's sitting there, she overhears things like the orchard's on fire and everything, but she called Josuke and she got up to date with everything. So I'm sure they'll meet up at some point once Josuke and Mamazuku get to the hospital. Yasuo will join the picture again, but by the end of the chapter, we see that Mitsuba's legs are completely crumbling and all that's left is the bone, just turning to rock. So I don't know if the procedure just happened and they just did it, if it's like super quick, or these are just more side effects from the original medicine that she took. But yeah, I don't know what the deal was. It looks like they're just using Mitsuba as like a test dummy for this Rokakaka technology, but I'm just like lost on what the gain is. Like, I understand equivalent exchange is like a powerful ability, but like clearly the way they're using it is not efficient at all. And they're just like destroying this woman's life. But anyways, and then at the end of the chapter, it says 10 days, 19 hours, and 6 minutes until the fruit is harvested. This is actually new because back in chapter 72, I think it was, when we got the big title that said 2 hours until the Rokakaka harvested, I was like, wow, like this timer right here screams end time. I assume by the end of this timer, or no, it wasn't 2 hours, it was 2 days, my bad. I was like, this timer screams like end times. This is going to be the end of JoJolion. But then like 2 days went by and I was like, okay, I guess I was wrong. But in the newest chapter, Araki updated that 2 hours to say 12 hours. So my theory still holds true that by the time this timer runs out, that is going to be like the end of JoJolion. And this timer is going to like, everything that happens within this time is going to be like end game for JoJolion, which is exciting. It's cool that Araki went back and changed that. Maybe it was just a mistake at first, or maybe he changed his mind and decided to extend things. Maybe he decided to extend the part longer than he originally wanted it to be. But that is when the Rokakaka fruit is going to get harvested 10 days from now, from the time that it's taken. So that was in chapter 72, and now we're in chapter 79. So if we keep that pace up, JoJolion could be really long. If it's like 6 chapters every 2 days, that could be a while because we still have 10 days left. But maybe some days will go quick, maybe some days will go shorter, but it looks like we're in endgame for JoJolion, guys. Don't hate me. I know I say that every single arc that comes up, like, this is the end, guys. This is the final one, I'm telling you. But they all feel like it. They really do. And this one feels like it a lot. We're getting to the hospital. Mamazuku told us the enemies, the main guys, are doctors and rock humans. That's what we got introduced to today. So I don't know, man. Feels like end times to me. But this chapter overall, I really liked it. I thought it progressed the plot very nice. And it was nice to have it was nice to have a chapter where we weren't just like in the middle of a stand fight or having like a really shitty protagonist or really shitty antagonist like poor Tom just like be an idiot the whole chapter. So this was a nice change of pace, and it is it like causes for a lot of speculation on what we can expect from the upcoming chapters of JoJolion. And I'm excited for that. So guys, that is going to be JoJolion chapter 77 discussion review. That's pretty much all my thoughts on the chapter, what I think of everything. But if you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video and next month for a new chapter. All right, guys, peace. Thanks for watching.